Hey folks, welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. This week's episodes are brought to you by Hellofresh. I love Hellofresh. And why do I love Hellofresh? Because it's not a meal delivery service, it's a fresh ingredients delivery service, right? Hellofresh sends pre-measured, mouth-watering seasonal recipes with all the ingredients, the spices, the instructions, and everything you need right to your door. You skip trips to the grocery store. You can count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable, which is why it's America's #1 meal kit. We're busy. I'm busy. September is the busiest month of the year for the Smoking Tire. We got long shoot days, long transits. The last thing I want to do is go to the grocery store, figure out what it is I'm going to make, and then start from scratch. Sometimes I have to buy big jars of spices to make one dish, and then I don't use it again for a year. I mean, like, what a waste, right? So what HelloFresh does is you go to their website, which is hellofresh.com/smokingtire14. We'll get back to that. You choose the meals that you want to eat that week. They have so many selections, and there's 50 menu and market items each week. They always rotate it up. There's vegetarian options, calorie smart choices, extra special gourmet options. There's something for everybody, right? There's like Asian stuff, Italian stuff, American stuff. It's like all over the place. It's really, really good. And then they send it to you each week. Each thing is like in its own little bag, right? You open the bag and you got the recipe in there. You have all these little spice packets with exactly like pre-measured everything. You have exactly the right amount of produce to make dinner for however many people you select, right? If it's like a one-person meal, a two-person meal, and you have exactly the right amount of food, exactly the right amount of ingredients, and there's no food waste. You're not throwing away good food. You're not buying big jars of spices and seasonings that you're not going to need. It's a great value. HelloFresh can be over 30% cheaper than shopping at grocery stores because of the pre-portioned ingredients. It ensures you won't spend money on excess food that ends up going in the trash. HelloFresh offers flexibility, so you can customize your order on the app within minutes. You can easily change your delivery day, your food preferences, your plan size, or if you're traveling or you just want something different, skip a week whenever you need to. It's easy, and it's especially easy for people who love to cook, because loving to cook doesn't always mean loving to dig through these endless recipe books. It doesn't mean wandering the grocery store going, what do I want to make? Like, I like cooking, and sometimes I need that kick to be like, here's a thing you can cook. And what's happened with HelloFresh for me in the past is that I end up saving the recipe cards and then going back and making those dishes on my own later. They add to my repertoire. Meanwhile, HelloFresh keeps sending me new delicious stuff. This saves me time, saves you money, and I don't feel guilty throwing waste food in the trash. So go to hellofresh.com/smokingtire14, the number 14, and use code smokingtire14 for up to 14 free meals, including shipping. So you got to do the Smoking Tire 14 thing twice. hellofresh.com/smokingtire14, and then use code smokingtire14. Get you 14 free meals, including free shipping. And HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit for a reason. The food is delicious, it's fresh, and it doesn't go to waste. hellofresh.com/smokingtire14, code smokingtire14. We are woo. We're also brought to you by Stat Hero. Stat Hero is a new type of daily fantasy sports book. Did you know that 85% of people who play daily fantasy sports lose? Shouldn't be that surprising. The game is rigged against you because you're playing against thousands of other lineups, not to mention experts who have more tools and more time. Fact is, you don't stand a chance. Now, introducing Stat Hero is the first ever daily fantasy sports book that puts the player in control and winning within reach. Now here's how it works. Stat Hero shows you the lineups and then dares you to beat them. It's you versus the house in a head-to-head fantasy matchup instead of you versus everybody else. You name your stakes, winner take all. You've got the advantage. Stat Hero is showing you their lineups ahead of time. No one else is doing that. Stat Hero has made fantasy sports more fun because you got a better understanding of who to draft and what players to watch out for. Fantasy sports players need Stat Hero. You are in total control. It's daily fantasy sports the way it was meant to be, one-on-one. So play Stat Hero now and change the odds. Go to stathero.com/smokingtire, sign up for free, and then right now you get 3 times back on your first play. They're giving you a 300% match. That's unheard of. Go to stathero.com/smokingtire. That's stathero.com/smokingtire. We're brought to you by Dylan Optics, the official eyewear of the Smoking Tire podcast. Going on almost 12 years we've been with Dylan Optics, and for a reason. The glasses are amazing. It's like HD life. Zach and I are out in the desert. We're up in the mountains. When I go skiing, when I ride my motorcycle to prevent glare, the NIR lens technology doesn't just look cool with the matte finish lenses that come in a whole bunch of different colors. It's actually a double polarizer that really does cut down that glare, cuts down that brightness without cutting down your ability to see very, very clearly. I love Dylan Optics sunglasses, and for me, the fact that I'm in front of a camera and that beautiful matte finish, it doesn't reflect the camera back. You're not wearing mirrors on your faces. It's not like that Hunter Thompson Fear and Loathing thing, right? They got all these different colors for the lenses. They have aviator style, wraparound style, wayfarer style, and I mean, they're adding new styles every month. There's like at least 25 different styles you can get. You can mix and match your colored lenses with the frames, ensuring that the pair you wear is totally unique and you will never see another person wearing the same glasses as you. So go to thesmokingtire.com and click on the Partners tab, right at the top of the page. It says Partners, and then you'll see Dylan Optics right there. If you use that link to buy Dylan Optics sunglasses, we will send you a free Smoking Tire t-shirt with every purchase. You buy 2 pairs of glasses, you get 2 t-shirts. It's that easy. Dylan Optics are assembled in the USA using Japanese and Italian components, assembled in Scottsdale, Arizona, and shipped directly to your door. I love these glasses. I will only ever wear these glasses. I got like a dozen pairs of them, and I started with Dylan by buying a pair of their glasses. They didn't find me. I found them, and we love them. So go to thesmokingtire.com and click on that Partners tab to get yourself a fresh pair of Dylan Optics sunglasses. Last but not least, the Smoking Tire podcast is now on Patreon. Lots of people have been asking us for the same types of things for the 11 years we've been doing this show. Number 1, how do we listen to the show without advertising? Number 2, how do we watch the show live when you do it? Number 3, how do we eliminate that lag time in between the live show and the Tuesday, Thursday air date? And lastly, how do we get even more Smoking Tire podcasts than before? The answer to every single one of those questions is on our Patreon, patreon.com/The Smoking Tire Podcast. That's where you're going to catch the live stream. That's where you can have a totally advertising-free listening experience, and that's where you can get yourself an extra 9th Smoking Tire podcast each month, only available to our Patreon patrons. The prices are very affordable. You absolutely get what you're paying for, and this is in response to the things that people want out of this show. Live streams, no lag time, early access, and an extra Smoking Tire podcast every month, all available starting at just $3 a month over at patreon.com/The Smoking Tire Podcast. All right, folks, on this episode of the podcast, my new friend Robin Grove of Classic Automotive Relocation Services. Shipping, logistics, your car as a tourist, getting your car to Goodwood, getting it to Pebble Beach, getting it on the other side of the world, vacationing with your car. These aren't things a lot of people think about, but it's a really interesting industry full of really interesting people. Robin spends her time surrounded by crazy net worth people with crazy requests, and they want their cars sent all over the world. Sometimes these cars are $20 or $30 million. How do you handle when someone says, I need my $30 million car shipped from Dubai to Pebble Beach? It's not the kind of industry that you typically would find a woman at the helm of, and that's not the only reason she's interesting. She has a really neat collection of cars. She does really fun things with her cars, and she has a great, fun personality. I'm happy to call her one of my new friends. Robin Grove of Cars is here on the Smoking Tire Podcast. welcome. Thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
Yeah. You Hannah's article on you was great, and Tony was like, "You gotta hang out with Robin. She's the best. She's nuts. She has all these weird cars."
Truth.
But like more importantly, logistics, transportation, not typically a glamorous business, and yet you're surrounded with like 7-figure cars all day. How does someone like you get into the business of moving cars all over the world? I'm going to dive right in on this.
Let's do that.
Because it's interesting to me.
It just, to be honest with you, happened. I was in a Mustang club when I was 16.
Oh.
I was going to be electric violinist rock star. That's what
Seriously?
I was going to be, yes.
Uh-huh. Do you still play the violin?
I do. I fiddle tunes, things like that.
Oh,
so
cool.
it's a lot of fun. And the company that I worked for just happened to do gray market cars and stone and tile.
Okay.
And so I'm a kind of like, I can do that.
Yeah.
I can do that. So I'm pretty well obsessive.
Gray market cars. So they were bringing in the European stuff like in the 80s. Is that what we're talking
All
about?
the 80s, yeah. And
So what kind
there.
of stuff were they bringing in?
Mercedes, Ferraris, I don't know, Rolls.
That was like a weird time, right? Like, because I'm 39. I was a kid. I would see, these dealers that weren't the official. It was not it was like prestige imports, like in Miami, or Formula One imports in Atlanta, and they'd have Ferrari and Lamborghini and some like Mercedes and stuff. But like, it's weird for me to think about a time that like these companies just didn't have dealers.
There was no dealers. It was all gray market. It was Mercedes. It was the Bentleys. It was anything you could think of, $3,000 to $4,000 a month, and that was just us.
Wow.
It was coming in. That's why the auto manufacturers put a stop to it.
Yeah, right. And were there even like U.S. spec cars, or was it just like whatever they were selling in Europe, like would just be the same?
Oh, there was U.S. spec cars.
It was U.S. spec cars. They just didn't have a distribution network.
And it was much cooler to have a European spec car because it didn't have all the air cleaning, all the
the tighter bumpers. Right.
And they were coming across that year during the 80s and things like that with a lot more catalytic converters. It was just the beginning of those times. Mm-hmm. And so it had no pep. So the European models were just faster.
Yeah. I mean,
and you could tell the difference between an American spec and a European spec.
Listen, I have a U.S. spec Countach, and there are Countach snobs out. Oh, yours isn't carbed. Yours is injected. Oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They get real poo-poo about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it just escalated from there. You just became.
It was a huge market. So that was fun for me because of my background of liking cars. And so it just kind of escalated over the years. I started as a document deliverer. I'd open crates at the piers and.
How interesting.
Yeah.
What'd you find? You find anything good in there? Like just like.
Oh no, they're people stuff.
It's just.
Open it up for customs. It's like
What is like? So you were in the Mustang Club when you were a kid?
Yeah, I was a secretary.
Oh, like not in the like you were
I
like
was
in the Mustang Club.
I was the fastest car in the club too. I ended up. Yeah.
What was your Mustang like?
It was a 64 and a half because I had a 66 Chevy pickup truck.
Okay.
And so I traded it straight across with this guy who had this Mustang. 50 Kragers on the back, little donut steering wheel, whatever it was. And it was a 302 and a 2, So they changed the engine anyway.
Yeah.
But then my boyfriend was working for super shops. So I got a B&M transmission.
Whoa.
I put a whole big huge cam in it. I spent more money on that car than I was making.
That sounds like me. I've been there.
Yeah.
I've definitely been there.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I'm just going to surround myself with cars all day.
This was fun. Yeah. And then started at Pebble Beach, probably early 90s and things like that.
In terms of bringing cars in for the show?
Yeah. So I was the main competitor kind of in that world with, what do you call them? Martin Button, right? Cosdale. That was the big name. It was Cars Europe and Martin Button from Cosdale. They started this whole... They were in that realm, and then the split happened, and I was just waiting for them. But I had worked with Cars UK. I was the other woman, right? Kind of thing. Not really, not that way.
Not that way.
I'm talking about business. Okay, let's keep it clean. So I was writing lockstep.
That's cool.
During that whole time.
That's cool. It just you're there and you just stay there and then just grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. And I stopped by your shop last week with my friend Tony, who works for you, and he was on our show. He was on a show labeled as Ferrari Tony, but he's really soul inmate Tony. He gets things done. He knows the old stuff and he gets things done. But man, at your shop, we were looking under sheets, and there was some crazy stuff in there. I mean, here's a Porsche 917. Oh, here's a Packard 12. Oh, here's a very rare competition Shelby Cobra that I've never seen anything like it before. Here's this crazy prototype thing. Like, is it fun to be surrounded by that kind of stuff, or is it just another thing going in and going out?
Well, I try my best to make sure they get where they're going.
Yeah.
I don't spend a lot of time. Every once in a while we'll go through and say, hey, that's really cool, because I love being surrounded by it, but it's making sure they're safe.
Yeah.
Getting through the customs rigmaroles and making sure everybody's kind of there. But it's a nice ambiance, and it's just...
What is the process like? I'm a super high net worth individual. I have a McLaren F1. I'm going to send it to Goodwood. I'm going to go run up the hill at Goodwood next summer. I say, Robin, all right, I'm going to get my car there. How does it work to get my car to England for Goodwood?
Well, you'd have to call and we'd have to do a quote. It's going to be air freight. When does it need to be there? And then there's the customs documents that go along with it, depending on your car. Is it a race car? Is it not a race car? Is it, So there's a lot of things that go on to it. For example, I just got a call. It was just last week from Roger Penske. And he goes, hey, I got my brother's old Land Rover over in Brazil.
Okay.
Brazil, really?
Is that not a place if you see Brazil on a form, you just go, oh, God. Okay.
But that's just one question. How do I get it over here?
Okay.
So then we have to reach out to our counterparts over there if we don't have an office and make sure we get the rates. And then it gets into the process. How old is it? Does it have an engine? So each car has its nuance from to where to what to what was changed to.
Is it like what's more annoying? Like a very old classic or a modern car that's like not homologated for the country that you want to send it to?
Modern.
Modern is harder, right?
Because it has to go. There's only 3 of these conversion shops left. So 1987, there's thousands of these gray market cars are coming in. All of a sudden, the manufacturers say, okay, how do I stop this? So they make laws. They make rules. It can't be this model. They're exactly the same, so on and so forth. So there's only 3 people nationwide that can actually make them to spec.
They can federalize these cars.
And then there's rules between who of those 3 can and what they went through. So it's like, I just bought this brand new F88 J50 or whatever it is. There's only 3 of them in the world or whatever it is. But it's only a 2017. Can I bring it in? Yeah. I already paid how many millions for it?
Yeah, it's sitting in France and
No, in Japan.
Oh, in Japan.
Or wherever.
Yeah.
So it's kind of...
And I know there's that one shop like in Arizona that does Audis, I think. A friend of mine got an Audi RS6 done through them, a 2000.
I think it's just for NHTSA. So there's 2 entities, 3 customs, of course. NHTSA, which is DOT, the safety and brake lines, things like that. And then there's EPA. That's about the engine and the computer system and the...
emissions and all that stuff,
And the OBD2 and so on and so forth.
Right. So it's like, but you can send stuff on a carnet and it can come have a visit, right?
Oh, of course.
Right. So explain how that process works, because most people hear me say the word carnet and they have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. But you don't.
There's 2 types of carnets.
Right.
A carnet is basically a bonded passport globally. It's an international treaty between most of the countries that they allow these things, if they've been bonded, the car for a certain value, in and out of countries freely without entry.
It's like a tourist visa for a car.
Correct.
Pretty much.
Right.
So you can get one of these, and if you go, I'd like to vacation with my car and take a road trip in this foreign country in my car, you can get a carnet and basically ship the car there for a certain period of time, usually up to a year, right? Mm-hmm. And you can drive it around on your home country's license plate legally, pretty much, right?
Yes.
Ish.
Well, there's 2 types of carnets.
Okay.
There's an ATA carnet. That's for business, like the race cars. It could be salesman samples, but you can't drive them. And then there's a CPD, carnet de passage, which you can drive on, but the U.S. doesn't recognize it.
Oh,
so you have to
it's
get
only leaving the U.S. into other countries?
Well, you can't. It doesn't even recognize it to get out of here. You still have to clear it out and in regularly, but the other countries want you to have it. in order to drive freely through them, through most countries. And some countries don't even accept it. But it's called a carnet de passage.
Okay.
It's the one you can drive on.
So what countries can I take my Lamborghini to and go on a road trip from America? Europe.
Middle East.
Okay.
Asia.
Where can't I go? Is there any hard no's?
Well, you can't come here with it.
Yeah. Right.
Off the top of my head, I'm not exactly sure. I'd have to read all the list.
All right. I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
Yeah,
I
you
just
do.
think it's sorry.
Yeah.
I think it's just interesting,
Are there countries that are more challenging than others because of the frequency with which they deal with this? Like you said, Brazil, is that difficult because of their system and bureaucracy in general, or is it just they don't deal with that kind of shipment often, so they're not used to it?
They don't deal with the shipment often. There's just not a lot of cars coming out of Brazil. I don't think they let them out or in very easily. And so it's just not, and it's a lot of theft. So the main countries
High risk.
it's always going to be England, Italy, now Japan. Those are your main, Saudi Arabia now, Dubai, Middle East are now really coming in strong.
Yeah.
There's going to be some big stuff happening over in the Middle East.
We just got invited to the Dubai Melee.
I'm going.
You are?
I want to go.
We're
I
out.
don't know I'm going, but I do want to go.
I think we're
December,
confirmed.
right?
December 5th to 9th. Yeah, I think we're confirmed, and they have set us up with a vehicle too to drive. I have no idea what. I'm just going to show up, and there's going to be some old car for us to drive. I have no idea what it is.
Yeah, that's my bucket list. We just opened up Cars Dubai Cafe.
Oh, cool.
So,
Cafe. What is
we have a big, large building that has just opened, which has air conditioning and a cafe.
That's like a big thing over there.
It's a big thing. It actually has its own Instagram now.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it Cars Dubai Cafe on Instagram?
It's Cars Cafe.
Oh, Cars Cafe on Instagram. We can find it. We will find.
I just saw it myself.
Dubai is a really interesting place, especially for cars.
And Saudi, even last 2 years ago, they had that big event.
The Saudi SEMA.
Well, yeah, but they had that private Concours and a whole bunch of things. They want Saudi Arabia to be more friendly, and they feel the best way to do it is through automobiles.
Yeah, it's an interesting strategy. I wonder if it'll work.
Oh, darn.
I don't know. I mean, look, I like cars, but politically, I'm a little conflicted about that kind of thing, about cleaning up Saudi's image,
We shall see, right?
I guess.
It was an odd
Dubai,
way.
I don't have with the UAE, I don't have those issues with the UAE. The UAE is cool.
I've never been.
You haven't? It's interesting. I mean, it's Dubai is not Vegas. It's, as much as they want you to think it is, it's not Vegas.
Okay.
But the car culture there is really cool. I went to a car show in Dubai, and it could have been a car show in Malibu. I mean, there's classic American stuff. There's high-end European stuff. There's Evos and STIs modified to an inch of their life. There's all kinds of cool stuff over there, and it really had a very cool vibe. They drive their cars. I mean, there's definitely some like sheiks and shit that have these collections and they just sit, but like your average enthusiast, they drive their stuff. They go dune bashing with these crazy trucks. It's a really neat place.
Wow.
For cars.
I'm
You should go to this thing.
I okay. You got it.
Yeah, but like the idea of shipping these cars around, like when I was at your place the other day, there was at least 5 or 6 cars that were shipped here from foreign countries to be auctioned off in the Pebble Beach auctions, and they were no sales, and then they're getting shipped back home. That to me seems like some kind of investment to not figure out how to make a sale, doesn't it? Isn't that wild?
Well, when you're dealing with a 16,917 that we just put back in a crate and took the airline.
I saw the 917. She ain't lying.
So at that point, to protect it and so on and so forth, if you're making $1 million,
I guess. What is the rough shipping cost for a 917 in a crate on air freight?
60 grand, let's say, round
60
trip.
grand? Round trip?
Round trip. So maybe a little less, a little bit more by the time you're done with it all.
Yeah, I mean, that's it's not as much as I would have guessed, honestly, especially because you actually do have to put it in a crate. Like, that's not a euphemism. It goes in a crate, right?
You don't want to have an airline strapping that to a pallet.
Yeah. You guys do the crating up yourself? Mm-hmm. And what do they come and just load it on a flatbed, on a big flatbed, and
we have it
slide
in our warehouse, pretty much on the flatbed.
Yeah.
Once it's all crated and safe, then there's a little bit of roller that we allow it to go onto the flatbed, and then the same thing goes into the airline.
That's cool. Does it say Porsche 917 inside on the outside of the crate?
No.
It's anonymous crating.
Yes.
That's you're handling, these guys are handling this thing moving into the plane. You're like, oh, yeah, I wonder what's in there. There's probably just some whatever boxes of stuff. And
They don't need to know.
of course they don't need to know, nor should they know.
And what would they do with it?
Nothing. Just be happy that they're in the presence of such greatness, I guess.
That works. I am on a regular
does.
basis.
Yeah, it does. It does.
No, it's extremely amazingly cool.
It's cool.
It is cool.
It's really cool. But it's, it does, I guess, in the context of $16 million, yeah, 60 grand to ship the thing is not that big of a deal. But
Not when you can make $1 million off it.
yeah, I guess.
I mean, think about a F1 McLaren,
Right.
right? Back in, 2007 or so, they were going for $7 million. Everybody thought, oh, my God, $7 million, getting them converted. Oh, da, da, da. What are they today, 20?
Yeah, that one just went for 20, didn't it? The one at, I think it was Gooding. It was 20 point something. I actually thought that was low, considering what the last one was, which was 18, I think, and considering what the market has done since then, and considering the prevalence of other seven-figure cars in the general, there's I just got the new DuPont registry over there, which I still subscribe to. There is now enough Veyrons on the market that there's a double-page spread of classifieds for Veyrons.
Wow.
That is wild. You know what I mean? To me, anyway. Maybe not to you, but to me, that's
What were the figures on it? 5 mil?
For the
3 mil?
Veyrons?
Yeah.
No, the Veyrons were between 1.8 and 2.7, and then there was a couple Chirons that were in the 3. They weren't massively over.
So those are for the newly wealthy beginning that realm car collector.
Right. Now, yeah, then if you're going 917s, you're on another level. You're on a
Yeah, anybody would love to drive that with a gas tank in the back, right on your back.
death trap. It's the sketchiest car ever. You ever see a 917, Zach, without the body on it?
Yeah.
It is. Your feet are the bumper.
The chassis, the metal of the chassis is rather thin. Sorry, the metal's not thin. The bars are thin to keep the weight down. I was very surprised when I saw one without the skin on. It's
You're
really
going
cool,
really fast around really tight curve.
So
and you're sitting in
With
a
a whole bunch of
lawn
gas.
chair. You're you're really lean back. It's really cool though.
It's really wild. And there was some really great stuff down there. What was that weird Porsche? What's it called?
Glockler.
Luckler?
A Glockler.
Oh yeah, how do you spell
Glockler?
that?
I think it's Glockler.
Yeah, look up Glockler Porsche. It's really ugly. It's really that's it right there at the top. It's a very ugly car, but it's basically, I think it was where the 550 came from afterwards. They made this.
It's a very historic car.
It's historically significant, but incredibly ugly.
Is it amphibious? It looks amphibious.
It looks like an amphicar, yeah.
But I don't believe it is.
No, but it's got this really bizarre greenhouse. Inside, it looks kind of like a regular Porsche, but that thing was sitting there waiting to be, I guess, shipped back home from wherever it came. But I couldn't believe how awkward looking Ferdinand Porsche built something. Usually everything else he built was pretty clean.
First time I've ever seen in all these years a Porsche like that.
A truly ugly Porsche.
I'm not saying it was ugly.
How much did it sell for?
It didn't sell,
didn't
right?
sell.
Okay.
Yeah, it didn't sell. Listen, pretty sells, and ugly, rarity, pretty
Most people
beats rarity.
Probably didn't know what it was.
Right.
They
Yeah,
said
yeah.
weird kit car. Why'd you do that to your 356?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you've managed to amass quite an interesting collection yourself, haven't you? I saw your red Ferrari 328. We're in the 328 club.
Yes.
What else is hiding in Robin's garage?
I have a 1931 Ford Model A Phaeton.
That's cool. Phaeton means what? It's a sedan,
It's a
right?
convertible-ish type of thing since 1931. So the roof comes off. Mm-hmm. And, so...
Do you drive it?
Actually, Tony, we're going to an event tomorrow at the Rolling Hills Country Club. It's a wine and dinner fest.
Oh, yeah, it's
we're
period.
Right? It's period. So I'm going to wear
I think that's actually that's actually it, right?
Yeah.
The green one, right?
Yeah, that's mine.
Right there?
That's really close to it. It almost looks exact to the fourth on the right.
Oh,
The green one. Lighter green.
To the left.
Lighter green.
Full left. Oh, where'd it go? That fourth. Yep.
Yeah, that one.
That one.
Yeah, that's it.
It looks near. Yeah.
That's basically exactly it, isn't it?
Yeah. Really,
it's
really,
really cool.
Really, really close. Except for mine has a black top.
I don't see a lot of the ones that aren't like little
Hot rodded.
Yeah, hot rodded or two-seater. That's cool.
Those are the Model Ts.
Right. But the Model A had there was like a rumble
Bigger
seat
and
coupe
a bigger
also.
engine, yeah.
Yeah, they drive better.
Yeah, so Tony's going to be my chauffeur.
Does he have an outfit? Have you
I
provided?
told him I did provide him a hat. He's kind of iffy about it. I can
better
tell
wear the hat.
When Tony doesn't want to do something,
It's not happening.
normally
No,
it's not
but
happening, and
he's
it's very
gotta go-
it's silent.
He's Brazilian custom. He's like, not getting in here.
You got to give him the overalls and the hat. He needs the overalls and the hat.
I gave him the hat.
gotta
I even
do it.
demonstrated it and wore it last night to the Porsche event, and it really looked quite well.
Oh, you went to Galpin?
Yeah.
How is I couldn't believe that was Bo in Tony's face. He shaved the beard.
Right?
Bo Bachman shaved his beard. He looks a completely different person.
Looks great.
Yeah, he does looks good, but I was like, is that Bo? I don't even know what he looks like without a beard.
Yeah.
Yeah. How is that cool Porsche built?
Oh my goodness, it is stellar.
What
he did
it's
a
like
really
a
great job.
period resto mod, right? Like it's like
I thought you meant the building. The building itself is
No.
amazing.
Oh, what-
But
what yeah. Oh, the
dealership.
new building.
the new building,
Is it amazing?
amazing. Glass floor and showing a showcase Porsche underneath, and
Oh,
they have
really?
a
A glass
basement
floor?
floor.
That
Yeah.
They took over
did-
Porsche Santa Clarita, right? Isn't
Correct.
that what it is? It's now
Yes.
Galpin Porsche.
Yes.
But he built this. He restored, and I guess it's a period resto mod 356 is a speedster.
That was underneath the glass floor.
That's cool.
That's what everybody could see through the glass floor.
that
it was,
thing with the
yes.
yellowish wheels there.
Yes.
It's really nice.
He did a great
looking.
job on it. The interior with the plaid is also quite impressive. There you
That's
go.
a good. Yeah, that's a great
Yeah.
tartan on the interior.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a very nice restoration. That's the kind of restoration I would do. That looks like my taste right there. I
did a
love an
great
aggressive
job.
fabric. Bo is the man.
Yeah.
So check out Porsche Santa Clarita. They're nice people up there. I like Bo. I've bought a lot
He's
of cars
fun.
from him.
He's a good time.
Yeah.
Humble.
And they know how to have
really
a
nice
party
guy.
too.
Oh, yeah.
Did they have the Cuban cigar roller out there?
I did see one outside.
Yeah.
And
That's
a bunch
their
of
thing.
catered food all over and hors d'oeuvres. They had this martini, glass or ice sculpture
Mm-hmm.
that the martinis were shaken.
Shaken.
Yeah. Thanks. And poured through in order to chill them.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Martini ice luge.
Right.
I like that.
Through a
But-
Porsche.
Oh, it's through a Porsche?
Of course.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, not a car, but a glass.
Right there,
The
ice
ice.
Porsche.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so 31 Phaeton, 7 Ferrari, 328.
Yeah, 87.
What else? The Jeep, the Gladiator you've got outside.
Yeah, the Gladiator. I have a 1971 Mercedes 280 SL.
That's lovely.
I have the 64.5 Mustang that's now Panos. So it's a Panos Mustang.
What is that? What is a Panos? I know who
Panos.
Don Panos is, but what
Right.
did he do to the Mustang?
The whole undercarriage and steering, but it's still removable if they want to. So it's now, it turns on a dime. The suspension that rides is just over the top. So Danny, his
Is that
son,
your
did
same
it.
Mustang from when you
No,
had?
it's a different
Okay.
one. But
All
this
right.
one found me later on, and so I named it Sally. There's a story, of course, with that one. Okay, just a really
What's the
quick story.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what we're here for, stories.
So here we go. It's Corvette. It's a 50th anniversary of Corvette. We have a Corvette guy that wants to drive his 50th anniversary Corvette. It's his 50th birthday, and he wants to take to all 50 states.
Okay.
Okay, he could get everywhere, but he couldn't get to Hawaii.
Of course.
So I had to put him and his Corvette on a plane.
On an airplane? Together? Same plane?
Yeah,
That's cheap.
and my handler at the time, and over to Hawaii to have lunch and fly him back. So we became really good friends. He did make
That's
it
cool.
to Bowling Green.
He
And
didn't even spend the night in Hawaii? He just drove around a little bit and flew home?
Actually, they were on the tarmac and watched in their Mercedes get blindsided by a forklift. It was bad.
Oh, my God.
So then he knew why I sent the handler with him. Oh, it was
my
bad.
God.
Yeah.
Would
So he made it back. Everything was fine. And then, of course, he named me Mustang Sally.
Of course.
Of course. So I found this Mustang, which looked like my first Mustang.
Mm-hmm.
And what else am I going to name it?
Perfect.
Sally. Sally.
So, wait, why didn't this gentleman leave the tarmac? Why didn't he take his Corvette and drive around in
Because
Hawaii?
he had to get back and finish the 50-state tour to get back to Bowling Green on time for the celebration.
Oh, man. You ought to go all the way to Hawaii, fly your car, you don't even take a lap? The Corvette? It'd be a nice
They
lap
might have
around.
went out to lunch.
I didn't know if there was some like rule with shipping it where it had to do a bunch of things and they could get around the rule by like not leaving the airport. Oh,
No, it was
purely
actually
time?
Coletta at the time, and they helped sponsor him.
Oh, yeah.
Go round trip.
I flew on a Coletta plane once.
Oh, yeah?
I did a Porsche thing where we So, Porsche Cars North America has to buy their press cars from Porsche Germany. Did you know that?
Oh.
So the press cars that we drive as journalists,
Okay.
Porsche North America has to buy them from Porsche Germany, which is funny and strange. And so somebody very smart at Porsche said, I have an idea. Why don't a few journalists come take European delivery of these press cars, and you'll understand the European delivery experience. We'll drive them from Stuttgart to Leipzig. We will put them on a Kalita plane. You will then get on the Kalita plane, which was hilarious because it's an old 747. So you're in these the first class seats that are upstairs, but it's like grimy because it's like an old cargo plane. And we flew to Cincinnati, and then we drove them around in America. Drove them to Atlanta. It was a neat thing. To fly somewhere with your car is cool.
Yes. You can actually do that with Cargo Lux. Mm-hmm. So in rare cases, we can get approvals for people to fly with their cars.
On the cargo plane? I think, can't you also fly on Emirates with your car to Dubai?
Yes, that's still a little bit restricted now, and they're kind of working with. They made a package deal. We were working with them, and they were trying to say that if you bought a first class ticket, you got your car to go for free.
Well, that's a hell of a deal.
Depending on what the first class.
Oh, you gotta get you gotta get that cabin, right? The big room, right?
Or something, yeah. So that was a program that they had started. Of course, COVID kind of got in the way.
Yeah.
Who knows whether they'll start that again?
They should. It's cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
Do the fluids have to be drained out of the cars before they get loaded up, or is it like
No, the
fuel
fluids
low?
are fine. The fuel has to be under a quarter of a tank.
yeah.
Okay.
So you just gotta beat the hell out of your car
Right.
for a little while. And,
Right.
So that's the only thing that's really flammable for the most part.
Yeah. That's it's such an interesting process, flying places with your car and then just driving it away from the airport. It's that's the ultimate luxury.
It's kind of cool, but how long does it usually take? And I know it varies country by country, but are there some countries where it takes half an hour from the time you land to get the car off the plane and then you're on your way? Or is it like a 4-hour process with paperwork, stamping, and all this stuff?
It's usually 4 hours just to take the car off to deplane,
Just to get it on the
unload
ground.
the entire plane.
Okay.
Because you can't get in the way if they're unloading the plane.
Yeah.
It's got forklifts and people can get hurt.
Right.
What I left out of the cool story with Germany is that it was a good portion of a day. We had to have the cars at the terminal at 11 a.m. for a red-eye flight. And they're like, you guys want to see the process of them loading it? And we're like, yeah, sure, we do. They weren't like, you're going to be standing out here in this terminal for 8 hours, by the way. And it really did take a long time. And when we landed in America, it was another, many hours. So actually, Porsche sent us in a cab to the hotel, and they had some people show up with the cars a few hours later. So we didn't physically drive them away from the terminal. So yes, there is a lag for sure.
It's
There's
a luxury,
lag.
but I guess if you want to make sure your trip, make sure it's worth your time. Make sure your trip's a week.
Yeah.
Because it could take you a day to get it off.
Right, yeah.
Wow.
But on the Kalita plane, you could just look out the back of that cabin into the cargo area. So we just looked down there, and there's 4 Porsches there, and I was like, oh, that's pretty badass, actually. That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Have you ever what's the worst damage you've ever seen happen to a car in transit?
Can I knock on wood and say
course.
that
We have great wood here.
there hasn't been anything? I guess maybe one incident where we were loading a car at the airport and some guy backed the forklift into the door.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not that bad. That's a basic human error.
Right.
It's not like the
I mean,
thing
it's
fell off the pallet and ended up on its roof.
No,
I don't mean
knock
stuff
on
that was
wood.
your fault either. I just mean in the world is
Certain things happen. I would say, luckily enough, we haven't had. God, don't even put it out there, please.
Okay,
Wrong question.
I'll let it go.
Move on.
I'll let it go. I'll let it go.
The thought of it.
You told me that you like to take in your Jeep, you like to take the off-road trail from your place in Pahrump into Vegas.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
It's up to the mountains, actually, and so when you're leaving, it's dry.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, during the winter, you get up to the hill, another 15, 20 minutes out, and it's snowing.
That's amazing.
You're in a storm,
You're
know.
using a Jeep. I like that.
Yeah, I like the Jeep. It's good for up there. I have my little Golf R that I take on the track up at Spring
you're
Mountain.
a member at Spring Mountain, right?
Yeah, so the little Golf R protects me from myself.
Fun.
Even if I spin out, I'm still like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's a very forgiving track car. You can drive them really hard and you still stay very safe.
And it's under warranty.
Oh, yeah. Leave it stock. You're good to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you do anything? No.
Do you find a membership to a racetrack country club to be a rewarding thing that you get a lot of use out of?
I'm supposed to get a lot of use from it, but if I, kind of cured my workaholism, then I'd probably use it more.
Yeah.
I go once a month. I'd like to spend an entire week a month and get more in the years to come.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy it a lot. The people are great. It's a lot of fun. A lot of radicals.
Beautiful facility.
It's getting bigger. It's going to be the largest in the world.
I know. They keep just adding these crazy tracks.
They have, I forgot what it was. They have, 900 acres?
Yeah, they just keep adding so much track.
It's all the way to the mountains. So it's going to be just nutsy stuff.
And it's really interesting because, it's obvious that the land parcels are like rectangular, and so they kind of it's almost like if you were looking at it from an airplane, it would look like a game board, like a Chutes and Ladders game board. Like they've got all this track in a box. It's really funny. And it's then they buy another box next door and another box. They keep adding these sections of game board. It's really wild.
It's great.
There's so many configurations.
Yeah, and it'll be even more. And then they're building a hotel.
Oh, they are?
Casino. On the front of the property.
Wow.
Yeah, that's supposed to break ground sometime this year, I do believe.
Tired of the Nugget getting all those dollars, huh?
Gee, what?
Oh yeah, look, Zach's got it pulled up. It's like a track. It's like a track inside of a Monopoly game board.
That's only the beginning. Look at all the land around it.
Yeah, they bought up all that land, right?
All that land.
Wow.
Yeah, it's only the beginning.
They bought the big rectangle behind, right, and to the north, right?
All the way back here, almost to the mountains. I mean, what's 900 acres? I don't know. I
a
might
lot.
even have that number wrong, but I think they're that whole road up there.
Yeah, there's a golf course on the other side, right?
That's where my house is.
And that golf course is typically 250 to 300 acres.
Mm-hmm.
So think 3 times that golf course. That'd be so crazy.
They're having rumors that they're going to make, because there's no real cities there. Pahrump is an area or a county or something. So they're thinking about making its own city, which is a track and the Mountain Falls Golf Club.
Like the city of Spring Mountain?
So that it's closer than down the street.
Well,
to
that they can make their own rules.
They can
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Their own government, own rules.
Burnout parking lot.
And Pahrump is it's not like a classy sounding town. The word Pahrump is weird and awkward, kind of.
Now, Duke Pahrump would disagree with you.
I know. They're going Prumpetadum.
Yeah. It's an interesting place, but wow, 900 acres going all the way to the mountain. It'd be ridiculous.
And don't quote me if I got that wrong, everybody.
That's okay.
How long have you lived there?
I bought the house February, 2.5 years.
Okay, because we started going there in 2009, I think.
It was
and
like nothing.
It was real small,
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's built up a bit, and there's hotels and stores and things like that.
They put when they put the
They have
Holiday Inn, it was woo!
Game changer.
They
Absolutely.
have Starbucks.
Yep.
Just so you know.
All right. No, Spring Mountain is a really that out in the west was the first of the racetrack country clubs, and it's worth the drive. It's cool. They got that water jetpack thing in the lake.
Yeah. And they can land helicopters there. They're flying up, and just right there's an airport as well.
It's
small
It's
airport.
a really, really fun, neat facility. Oh yeah, no, that everything on the right there is new since the last time I was there. Last time I was there, that long straightaway to the right center of your screen was the end. There's a whole other track there.
It's right. It's not shown there. And the houses are all up. A lot of houses up there now.
Yeah, it's cool. Have you done thermal yet? Have you been to thermal in Palm Springs?
I've been there a number of times. I've never driven it.
It's neat. It's a really fun track. It's similar in flow to Spring Mountain. It's probably your Golf R would be really fun there. It's really fun up to about 350 horsepower. More than that, if you're out there in supercars or a 458 Challenge, it's not enough track. It's too tight. But the perfect car, STI, Golf R, a standard 911 Carrera, that's just perfect for that. But they have the best racetrack food I've ever had. The restaurant was fabulous.
Hit up my friend Alan Irwin, who runs the place. I know I can get him in. Yeah, we're friends.
It's a beautiful facility, and these. I like that the idea of the racetrack country club is a thing.
It's bar none the most classiest track club that's out there.
Yeah, it's so
It's the billionaire. Spring Mountain's the million. I shouldn't say this, but it's my
okay.
friends. But the Spring Mountain's more like the millionaires club.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, at Thermal, they make you buy a property.
Billionaires club.
Yeah, you can get a membership at Spring Mountain without having to buy a home there. At Thermal, you got to buy a home.
And then pay the membership.
Yeah, you got to buy a property. Yeah, you have to buy a property.
Wow.
And you have to build. I think there's a rule that you have to build on it within 2 years because they don't want people just sitting on the dirt. They want to see those houses up.
No mobile homes on that dirt.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. There was I was just at Brainerd, which is a track in Minnesota, if you've ever been there. It's an amazing motorsport facility that's like deep in the middle of nowhere. And somebody was like, I know what I'm going to do. Build these luxury homes on Brainerd for like $1 million, right? Which in the middle of Minnesota, $1 million might as well be $1 billion. And the homes look just like the homes at Thermal. And yeah, Zach, if you go to see the drag strip on the top right of the corner there? So if you go towards the right, towards the end, that drag strip is also the front straightaway. So right where the pit merges into the middle of that straightaway, right after that pit merge is where they have put a couple of very nice homes. And just next to it in the woods is like a gypsy trailer park village of like mobile homes. And it's just out of view of the real estate listings. It's like really funny.
That's crazy.
What's your dream track car beyond the Golf R? If you work your way up, what is it?
The next car should be a Miata.
Of course.
In order to be able to work on it and learn. I would like to do a Panos cart. Actually, I'm talking about them. They're thinking about making carts.
Panos should make carts. They know about going fast.
They have
their
they still have
cars
their
are
teams.
kind of funky.
Well, they won the GT for what it was in Vegas.
Yeah.
It was the
Esperante back in the day, which is sort of a
no, just last year.
what?
Yeah,
They won something last year?
Yeah, aren't you watching?
No, obviously not.
Pay attention.
What? Wait, what did they win? GT4?
It wasn't GT. It was the what's a class that's come on? Help me out here.
IMSA? GT?
It wasn't IMSA. They have look at Las Vegas International Raceway.
Oh, I don't know. Zach will find it.
Zach will find it.
Number 50. Say Pirelli GT4 America
Right.
Sprint X round at Coda. Huh. Go back up. What is the picture of that? That is an Esperante.
That's it. There should be a Cars.
Holy shit!
sticker on
They
it.
are still racing the
Yes.
Esperante
And they were
winning.
they're
That
winning.
is so crazy.
Yeah, there you go.
Good
See?
for them. All right, I absolutely stand corrected. Good for them. Go down. What is this story? 51. Oh, it's the Panos Avezzano.
Avenzano.
Because I think that's basically an Esperante with a carbon fiber body. I think.
You should see some of their Le Mans cars. They're still shipping them over to Le Mans and racing them over there. They did the Delta Wing and stuff like that.
I remember they did we had
He's
Alexander
amazing.
Rossi on the podcast who raced the Delta Wing and said it was a wild
Panos
thing to drive.
is one of the most understated car manufacturers of USA racing history.
In your shop, I saw a Panos Roadster for the first time.
Yeah.
And that is a wonky little car.
Right.
You ever seen one of them, Zach? Google Panos Roadster. It is like...
It's almost like a Prowler-ish thing.
Yeah, but like with a Mustang Cobra engine in it. It's not...
It goes fast. Those things...
Oh, you got to go back and you got to find the old one. They're not
There's
making
an
them
Avenzano
anymore.
on the right. And
The Roadster is...
It's not.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, there you go.
The open wheel thing. It's this
Those
little...
are fast.
Oh, yeah.
It almost looks like a belly tanker meets a Caterham meets a Prowler, but it has the powertrain from a Mustang Cobra, the 32-valve Ford engine, and it weighs like 2,000 pounds.
Thing
It's
is
an
nuts.
odd-looking thing, but I bet it's fast because they make fast stuff. Like they know how to set things
2,200
up.
It's fast.
Right, light and good power, and then also they're very good at suspension and chassis tuning.
Yeah.
That is it looks like which end is the front.
It's
like you
super
could turn the
funky.
windshield around and you could drive it the same in reverse and it would look the same.
And the one that Tony was showing me at the shop, there's no way I could fit in it. I mean, not a chance. They're very small, and they seem like they're really hard to get into. But like, there is a giant engine. Like a 32-valve Ford motor is huge. in that little tiny thing. Like it's just a physically huge engine. I wonder if there's one with the engine. Look, and wait, pull up the interior one there, Zach. You got to see the gauge cluster's hilarious because it's the Ford Mustang gauge cluster. They just move it to the middle.
Right, because
really
now it's a
fun.
sports car.
Yeah, it's really funny.
It looks very small.
I don't know how many of these things they've sold, but I've only ever seen 2 of them in real life. Think about somewhere between a Caterham and a Wiesmann from Germany. You know, it's very.
It looks like a motorcycle sidecar that was turned into a car.
Yeah,
That's
pretty much. Yeah, they're very, very.
Ooh, that is a crowded engine bay.
Dude, the engine's huge. The engine's like coming out of the whole engine bay. It's hilarious.
Wow,
they're wild.
Have you driven one?
Never.
Be a good
I'd
time.
love to.
It'd be fun.
If someone out there in the Los Angeles area owns one of these things, please let me have a go. They are so silly looking. It's so good. You should get one of those for the track.
Yeah, you know what? Let me talk to Danny. He's the best. We took the Mustangs over to Goodwood. Actually, we shipped
really?
all over last year, 2 years ago. Actually drove around England and ended up at Goodwood.
In a Mustang? Did you get
3
a lot
Mustangs.
of love?
Oh, heck yeah. It was Sally. Danny brought his. It was a 66.
Mm-hmm.
It was a coupe, but of course he maxed out the engine. And then, of course, there was Reggie with the 350 GT, you know. Of course,
nice.
Right? And so all 3 of us were going together. Reggie from Summit Racing. Mm-hmm. So all 3 of us were kind of...
What was Goodwood like?
It was great. It was...
It was Festival of Speed?
no, it was Goodwood Revival.
Oh, cool.
Ooh.
So yeah, I got dressed up, a whole bunch of different costumes, ended up at the banquet. It was a
I
trip
hear
of a
that's
lifetime.
I hear that's the one to see.
Oh yeah, it was amazing. Yeah.
I mean, just the videos of the racing are incredible. These guys are mobbing in these cars. They're worth so much money.
My future son-in-law races every year in his 1928 Bentley.
Seriously?
Oh, yeah.
He
Regular.
races a 28 Bentley at Goodwood?
Oh yeah.
Such a
Sorry,
G
Rory,
move.
if I got the year wrong.
I mean, whatever.
29.
28, 29. I mean, whatever. It looks like a tractor, right?
Oh heck yeah. Yeah. There you go.
28
Hello.
Bentley, 4.5 liter.
There you go. Yep. There you go.
Jay Leno at this past Definitely Not a Cars and Coffee in Malibu rolled up in his 29 Bentley Brooklands Racer. Single seater, you know, looks like a torpedo, all just bare metal. He's like, oh yeah, that thing drives really good. It's no problem. I'm like, does it get hot in traffic? He goes, no, it's okay. It's because it's got 16 gallons of oil. I'm sorry, you mean quarts, Jay? Gallons. 16 gallons. It's got
Whoa.
16 gallons.
They
of
take
oil.
them on the Flying Scotsman, where all these pre-war Bentleys are going through the middle of like nowhere on no roads, getting to everywhere somehow.
It's so. Oh, because they're driving like a dirt roads and stuff, right?
Oh, in Scotland.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah.
a cool idea.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Overlanding, right?
Yeah.
Bentley overlanding.
Yeah.
Or is it called surveying your estate over there?
But it's a tour called the Flying Scotsman.
Oh, that's
it's a regular event for years.
Have you done other vintage car rallies?
Not yet. That's my bucket list. I want to do the Holy Land 1000 in
The
Israel.
Holy Land 1000?
Israel.
Get out of here. There's
Mm-hmm.
something called the Holy Land 1000.
Yep. 65 and earlier cars
What
are allowed.
religion are you not allowed to be? I'm just
I
wondering.
think you can be anyone. Just keep it quiet. I don't know.
Flying Scotsman Rally 2015. Oh
There
my
you
God.
go.
Look at these guys.
Yep.
I bet that's very beautiful.
Oh, it's nuts. But she says it was my daughter went. She's from California. First year she goes. She shows up in some sort of California jacket. Well, I'm ready for the Scotsman. And they look at her. They start laughing. I mean, they're just on the floor. And then they buy her a Muffin Man real jacket. You know, say here. Let me-
Barber for everybody.
Yeah, take off your flip flops and let me
But
give you
look
some
at
shoes.
I mean, look at the photos from this.
Right? See, they're racing through the
Nuts.
countryside.
So cool.
No satellite. You cannot use a nav because there isn't any.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's either you have a navigator that makes right turn or you don't.
That's awesome.
And you get lost in the middle of nowhere.
like Peking to Paris kind of stuff. That
That's
looks so
a lot
fun.
longer.
That looks so cool. I mean, that's so badass.
Those are
Look at this guy
tourists-
splashing through this puddle.
Oh, yeah.
1931 Talbot 105 Alpine. Jesus. The guys who race this old shit are just another type, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's what was there, but whoa, it was dangerous.
But they're doing it. No, actually, those Bentleys and those kind of cars are safer. They're a bunch of metal. You can't really get hurt. They last like there's no tomorrow. That's why they're racing them. Those are the ones that can go over anything. Look at the suspension on them.
It's just the Formula One cars of that period that are death traps. The road cars are actually okay.
I think the death traps came in the 70s, right?
Right.
60s, 70s.
Yeah.
These are the 20s.
Right. I guess these had like 80 horsepower. When you started to have the race car, it was the same weight but 400 horsepower and no guardrails on the racetracks.
Or then 1,200 horsepower when things got real
the
crazy.
Can-Am stuff. Yeah.
See, these were built for these roads.
No, yeah.
There were no real roads except for this stuff.
We, John Bothwell? Mm-hmm. So John came with us on an off-road adventure with one of his Model Ts, and the Model T was terrible on the tarmac, but amazing on the dirt. And just watching it billy goat up this stuff like it was just nothing. I was like, oh, well, that's obviously what this was meant for.
I have to try the Model A on that.
Yeah.
Tony, are you going to drive?
A world without pavement, it would excel. Yeah. It's really cool. Mm-hmm. Tell me about your AC.
Grasshopper. Well, it started off as, there's some stories out on it as well, but I had a car handler who always told me I needed a car, but until I actually owned my own company, what do I need a car for type of thing. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden he goes, okay, oh my God, I called him to do something. I have your car. And it's like, okay, what is it? It's an AC Bristol. Okay.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's it. It's like, okay, what's that? I had no idea.
It's a Cobra without the engine.
Well, this is what it is. It's what color is it? Well, it's green. I said, okay, it matches my eyes. Okay, I'll buy it. How much? Oh, it's really expensive. Well, $255,000 plus we have to put another $30,000 in it.
Yikes.
Right? Just opening up a country. Oh, okay, fine. I found a way to get it. And then, I did. And he goes, I think the original race car driver is somewhere in Huntington Beach, and there's some rumors that it was left off the ledger.
What does left off the ledger mean? It doesn't exist?
That means when the AC cars shipped it here, they forgot to put it on the books.
Oh.
So it's a missing VIN. They didn't really know where it went. They had an inclination, but you have 1212 is their BEX is the VIN number. 1213 is its VIN number. So 1212 is there. The ledger for 1213 is blank, and they have 1214.
Oh, shit. How about that?
So actually, we put it back on the ledger. We contacted the historian over there and put it back in.
We've been waiting for you.
And then, oh my God! And then
we were wondering where we put that car.
And we did a documentary on it. It's just about to be released after so many million years, but it feels like it. But there was just, so we went and interviewed the original race car driver who brought it in and his cute wife, and they were track rats, and they were the best racing. He actually won, has a lot of race history on it. And so we go, Gil, you haven't seen it in 45 years, whatever it is. Do you have any paperwork on it? He had an entire folder of the rough draft AC cars to what he wanted in the car, to every repair record that ever existed with Stu
awesome.
Haggart, which is one of the top race guys. At the time, he was working on all the ACs for everybody, and we gave him a special thanks within it. So through the documentary, there's everybody in it, between Billy Krause to John Morton to Alan Grant to, oh my God, Ned Scudder is narrating it. Lynn Parks is in it. Mike McCluskey's in it. Peter Brock's in it. Let me see who else. I mean, it just kept on.
Yeah.
And then you ended up with a historian in it from the UK, and then you have.
Oh my God, you went off the deep end.
Oh my God! Oh my God! And during the path, it's just okay. Let's do this. And I went to the 50th. It was the 50th anniversary of the ACAs at Silverstone. Mm-hmm. So I had the English guys there. So I have video of the all aces starting a race and going around Silverstone.
What's the difference between an ace and a Bristol?
The engine's the Bristol. The ace is the body style.
Oh, okay.
So it's an AC Ace Bristol. You have an AC Ace. It could be with a AC engine.
Well, have you ever driven one with an AC engine? What's the better engine? Do you know?
The Bristol,
engine?
the D2 100, which is the later one, which is a little bit more horsepower, is the best engine.
It's a 6, right? It's a 4.
Straight 6.
Straight 6, yeah. Mm-hmm. I drove the AC Asica, which is the hardtop version of this.
But it still has the same Bristol.
It was a Bristol, yeah. It was a Bristol, yeah. It was okay. It was rather light and lively. It drove very nice. It wasn't crazy fast, compared to a Cobra, but it was nice. But you could understand why someone was Shelby was like, I got an idea.
Yeah.
Boys,
yeah.
Sell some of them chickens. I got an idea.
Nice wagon. I got more horses.
Well, actually, he was racing with them in 57, 58. In Le Mans back there. And so that's what came with the idea. And then
he was with Aston Martin, and he was like, I see that little English car over there.
Mm-hmm, it's light. I'm going to bring sports cars into the USA.
It's a good idea, as it turns
It
out.
was.
Yeah.
And, so that we tie that in as well as, because it was a transition at the time. So.
You've driven Cobras before?
No.
You never drove a Cobra?
Oh
Nope.
my God.
You should try one.
Yeah.
They're nuts.
Yep.
Yeah, they're death traps. They're crazy.
The 289 or the 427.
Well, you should try both if you can, and if you wanted to, if you went down to Superformance or Hillbank down there, they let you have a go and whatever. But I prefer the 289 car because I think the balance is better and it's still very, very fast. Some people, they like the rowdiness and the terrifyingness of the big block car.
Sure is loud.
I owned a replica Cobra when I was in my 20s, and I wasn't content to have the regular 427. I had to have, and I bought one that had an old NASCAR engine in it from this guy Dennis Olthoff on the East Coast. You ever heard of this guy? He was a nut. And in fact, I believe the car didn't last very long. I hated it and I sold it quickly. I think it lives at Spring Mountain.
Really?
It was gold at the time, like the Nissan 350Z gold, but it was repainted black. Have you seen a black Cobra track car at Spring Mountain?
I think I may have. I'll go look.
I'll see it.
I'll do some.
It doesn't have any keys. There's no keys. There's no gauges besides a tack, not even a fuel gauge. It has a roll poop with this nasty bar down the middle. It's a mean looking car. But and it's got a Jericho 4-speed crash box in it. If you see that car, that's my old car.
Okay.
And the last I heard about it, it was being used as a track rat at Spring Mountain. So if you see it around, ask the guy if that's the car, because it's insane.
Okay.
It's 2,200 pounds and 600 horsepower, and it will kill you in a quarter of a second. Yeah.
I will look for it.
It was awful. It was an awful car.
Oh, no.
It wasn't good at all.
Oh, dear.
I mean, it made all the noise in the world. If you touched the brakes, all four wheels would just lock and it would slide. It was like horrible. I didn't know what to do with it. I couldn't drive it. I couldn't handle it at the time. But it was scary and fun. So if you see it out there, please send me a picture.
I'll ask around. I'll send a text to some people who may know.
Yeah. Oh, Zach. Oh, I thought you were putting your hand up for something. What is the future of the collector car market? Do you think? Do you think it's becoming more global?
Definitely more global. Mm-hmm. The amount of investment or ROI on these cars are pretty nuts. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like artwork.
Yeah.
Some people are actually using some of the cars as artwork on ceiling, walls,
people
things
are
like
hanging
that.
These shits on walls, aren't
but
they?
if you look at some of these paintings and you got a Renoir, whatever it's worth, 50 million, 100 million for a painting on a wall.
Yeah.
You can't drive it.
I know.
You can't even have fun with it. And it's still worth how much? So where can these cars go? Well, I don't know. Is there going to be anybody that are going to fix them is more the question.
Right. Because some of this stuff is highly specialized, and some of these folks are getting very old.
Means you have to make them.
Yeah.
And I don't think, unless you go with a divergent type of...
The 3D printing stuff.
Yeah, so can you do that with all these parts?
I think you can do it with some of them. I mean, Jay Leno has a 3D printer and talks about being able to make some of his own parts. So I think you can at a certain level. But yeah, the craftsman...
I bet that'll take over, actually, because the craftsmen and the technicians that know how to tune carburetors or how to work on an original 427 Cobra or the old Bentley, like some of them are literally dying, and the number of people that are going to have that training is going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. But you're going to have the internet, which is very popular, so they can share the file and go, oh, here's the jet you need printed on your 3D printer. Like there's probably going to be a period where it's really hard to get parts and get them repaired and whatnot, and then the part market may increase because more people will have access to metal 3D printers.
Yeah, if all you need is the file,
right,
and you can make
film materials. Like we're renovating our trailers, widening the wheels, things like that. It's a lot of welding. Mm-hmm. And the specifics in the artistry that goes into these master welders, that's the art form that's being lost, goes into the cars. The part can't be off a millimeter.
Yeah.
It has to be perfect. So even with the 3D printers, does it conform? Is it the right material even that you're making it from?
Yeah.
How does it, it can't leak, right?
Right.
Well,
no,
there's certainly questions to be answered, about that kind of stuff. But that may be how we make valves for a blower Bentley or, whatever, in the future.
I'm hoping that somebody or some of these next generations actually wake up to want to use their hands again, and actually does a little bit of a back step, and it's more valuable. And they realize that it's a good industry, and they can charge accordingly.
True.
I mean, the
Good
people,
point.
the folks who work on my old cars don't have a lot of young, eager help who want to do this type of very high-end, hand work. I hope that folks out there that find it interesting could go, oh, maybe I could do that. And if you get into it and you're like a decent person that cares, like there's a long career ahead of you. It's dirty work, and it's hard work.
It was kind of fun. Actually, I was working on the trailers myself a little bit because we had to put some rivets, and the rivet gun was broken. So there's this old plier thing that just I was in the trailer, and I was chopping off these rivets and putting them in the ground.
Zen, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It was actually, instead of worrying about all this out there, it was like I could focus on something in front of me, do it, accomplish it, and have immediate gratification.
We talk a lot. I've been talking a lot about my own mental health and anxiety and stuff like that, and being present and not worrying about the future. And so stuff like that, it allows you to be very present. You can turn out the outside world. Also, racing old cars. Doing track stuff, you have to be right here. You can't worry about work. You can't worry about what's going on out there. And so that type of stuff, I think, is rewarding for people whose minds are constantly racing.
Literally.
Something to focus. Yeah, something to focus on. Yeah.
Absolutely.
What else is anything else in the collection? Anything else hidden back there?
Yeah, let me see what else I got. I got a 2005 Aston Martin Db9.
Well, those are lovely.
Yeah, I like that.
Good car.
Yeah, I guess. Let me see. I should be receiving a 1958 Alfa Romeo Veloce. Spider.
Oh, that's fabulous. That's very good.
Mm-hmm.
Those are really nice.
It's being finalized every nut and bolt. It's going to be one of the top from Grand Prix Classics.
Where's Grand Prix Classics?
It's in La Jolla.
Oh, okay.
And so he got it back, and he's going through it.
Is that the Alpha place? That's where we go?
No, well, Alphaholics, I think.
Oh, Alphaholics, yeah.
No, this is, Grand Prix Classics. He's been around as one of my oldest clients back from the 80s, and he is just
were they importing stuff in the 80s?
He was one of the first back then of selling and buying collector cars, and he knows and has books, and every bolt, he doesn't, it has to be the right rubber. It has to be the right bolt. You can't put these bolts on this car. It has to be this bolt on this car.
Yeah.
So he makes them so they're Concours. I mean, they're really Concours.
That's cool.
So I'm excited.
Yeah, Donnie Calloway, who works on my Ferrari. You know Donnie?
He did mine. He helped me buy the
did
Ferrari.
your 328?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So he
buy it.
works on my Ferrari and he works on my
great.
Lamborghini, and he is a fanatic about it's got to be what the factory says. And for my Lamborghini, he was doing an oil change. Oil change. How hard could that be? And it took him 5 orders from different suppliers to get the right oil filter. Is it called? It's like Ufi or Uffizi or something like that. What's the oil? It's like UFFI or something like that. The original OEM oil filter, and they have the original one. What is it? Ufi. Yeah. So here we go. Perfect. So if you pull that up, the blue one. Right? The blue one, see it says original Ufi oil filter? That ain't it. The actual original one, that's the one that will fit. But that one on the right, the black one, that's the right one. Same brand, everyone's selling them as original, but it's actually not. The black one is right. So Donnie...
Are they the same size and whatnot?
They're the same size. They both fit, but the inside is not the same.
Okay.
The black one is better. And that is actually significantly underpriced. They were quite a bit more when Donnie had to get them. But,
I'm going to buy that right now and then sell
called,
it to you.
Yeah, but he ordered it, and they're like, no, I swear, it's the right one. It's the original. Blah, blah. And the blue ones kept showing up. Finally, the 5th order, he's like, I finally got the black ones. Ridiculous.
He's great. He's
great.
a
nut.
Yeah, he is.
He's out of his mind.
He's a nut. Oh, yeah,
yeah,
he is.
but
the shop is great.
But you need a nut. You know what I mean? Like you need someone who is obsessive
Yes.
about these cars if you want to drive them. Yeah. You get to drive your 328 a lot?
I love it. Yeah, I love it. I really call it like Disneyland because it reminds me of Autopia.
Yeah.
It feels like it, a little car.
It's it's the Ferrari of my youth, even more so than the Testarossa. I never got attached to the Testarossa. I was a Countach guy, but the 328,
I love it.
It's so good. It's just light, it's fun, it's lively.
Fixable.
You can zing the hell out of the motor. It's what?
Fixable.
It's fixed. It is fixable. You don't have to take the engine out for hardly anything. It's great. Mm-hmm. Well, thanks for coming down, Robin. It's really nice to have you down here. I love what you do. I think your shop is really interesting. The international moving of these cars is such an interesting thing. Yeah. Where can they find out more? Oh, we have questions from people? Oh, here we go. We have a few questions from the people. Meh says, can Robin help when you should choose uncovered transport over covered? Is there a dollar value or a distance where it makes a difference?
I always encourage enclosed, depending on a car. If it's a classic or if it's a collector car of some sort, I'd go enclosed, unless you don't care about the paint. Mm-hmm. If the paint's there, it could be a rock chip, it could be weather, it could be the way they lash it. It's just a whole different concept of the driver and the truck.
Yeah.
So it depends on how much you love your car and whether it matters.
Yeah. In my experience, if you're shipping a regular car,
a daily
driver, the difference between covered and uncovered will be approximately the same cost as the detail you'll have to give the car at the other end. So you might as well as well get it cleaned up first and put it enclosed, and it'll show up still clean-ish, maybe a little dusty, but certainly not covered in grime. Whereas if you send a car transcontinental on an open carrier, it will 100% need a detail at the other end of it, and there's your $400 or $500 right there.
And again, chips, rocks.
Yeah.
They're flying. You don't know how it's going to hit, what glass.
Right. Having said that, local stuff, 20 miles, if it's an open flatbed, I don't even care. I put my Countach on an open flatbed for short distances, and it doesn't bother me. Although Tony's flatbed is enclosed.
Yep.
Yeah.
We have a tarp-sided.
Cars has the little the accordion thing that covers the cars.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. We have $15 million coverage. So it's for, to and from the airport. Nobody needs to see anything.
Yeah. And there's that for sure if you're concerned about visibility and whatnot. But you should definitely look at whoever your shipper is, they're asked to not necessarily see their declarations page, but find out what their insurance coverage looks like. That's even more important, I think.
That's important. Know who your driver is.
Yes. Anything else, Zach, on the list for
more general questions? We could save them if you want. There's only 2.
All right, because I'll just bang them out now. Let's see. Dalton says, advice for a first-time road trip. Well, in about a month, I'll take my 2013 Civic Si sedan on a first road trip, 500 miles from NorCal to San Diego. Well, honestly, for 500 miles,
go to AAA. Get a trip ticket.
Yes.
Yeah.
100% do that.
Right?
Uh-huh.
It's old school.
Yeah.
If your car is in good working order, 500 miles should not be a big deal. Have you had a recent oil change? Are your tires in decent shape? Do you have a good thing to connect your phone to the radio to listen to music? Do you have some snacks and waters?
Carry jumper cables in case you need them. You don't want to be in the middle of the forest and go, oh, I usually borrow somebody else's. Don't do that.
I have one of those little jump boxes, a real little joint, and it's not like industrial grade, but it will jumpstart your car if you.
The best. We have 5 of those in the shop. Yeah. They're the best ever.
They're awesome. Yeah. They're awesome. But 500 miles really should not require all that much preparation. Fun back roads on the way home. Going back to NorCal, what is it, 25?
Yep.
The 25. You know the 25? It's a secret road. Instead of going up the 101 or the coast route, you go up on the eastern side and up 395 by Mammoth, and you can cut over Route 25. It's probably like 60, 70 miles, and it's gorgeous. It's through wine country. It's winding. It's fabulous, and there's nobody on it. You can go so fast, and nobody cares. So on those times when BCH through Big Sur is going to be a nightmare of RVs and all that stuff, the 25 is the secret, and it dumps you out on the north end right at the Monterey Airport.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah. You
That's
go
perfect.
south from Monterey Airport, and it takes you to Hollister, right?
Around there, King City, or from there Hollister, then straight down, and then it kicks you out near King City, or you can take it to Santa Barbara area if you want to.
Yeah, that's
and then it gets
super
real tight.
secret. Super
That's great.
secret. Prashanth says, since crossovers and SUVs now have similar mileage and driving dynamics to passenger cars, what purpose do large luxury sedans serve in today's market? Honestly, I think maybe it's a rhetorical question, but not much. We had have you seen the new Maybach GLS, the SUV? There's a Maybach SUV now.
Oh dear.
And when the point is rear seat luxury room, why not have the SUV? I mean, it's just more space. And I think it's a rhetorical question, but I agree. I think the role of the large luxury sedan is rapidly diminishing to almost zero. I mean, look how many Cullinans Rolls-Royce is selling, how many Bentegas, how many Lamborghini Uruses are selling. If Lamborghini came out with an S-Class competitor versus an SUV, they would not be selling nearly as many.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
Any chance? Oh, Gunnar wants to know, do I like basically Frank Stevenson's redesign of the new Countach? I thought Frank Stevenson did an okay job in this video redesigning it. I didn't love it. I saw another Instagram video that was going around before that I thought did it even more successfully. Did you see this thing at Pebble, Robin? The new Countach?
Oh, it's beautiful. But
you
it's
like
different.
it?
Well, I'm just getting into Lamborghinis myself at this time. It's my next arena of people and cars.
My next arena of people. That is awfully charitable. This is an Aventador-based Countach. So they rebodied it, and they did some styling cues from the old car. I didn't love it because it pull up the one with it,
Looks like the
next to the
Koenigsegg on the back, kind of that kind of window.
kind of, yeah. Oh, that's not the photo of it next to the original Countach. To me, just makes the original Countach look great, and
It was amazing this year with all the original. It was amazing this year with all the rally.
I
the
know.
Countach rally. That was just incredible.
It was great, right? It was like 22 Countaches driving together. I thought Frank Stevenson's redesign was okay. It wasn't as good as one of the other ones I saw, but I'm not really about. It just looks too much like an Aventador to me, But they sold it out, so what do they care about it? What do they care about us peons in our classic '80s supercars? All right, there we go. That's it for this one. Thanks, Robin.
Well, thank you
Really
for
appreciate
having
it.
me. I really appreciated it, and wonderful shop you have here.
Thank you so much for coming. CarsUSA.com.
Yes.
If you're interested in shipping your car anywhere, really.
Correct.
And anywhere else, just social media. What was the one in Dubai?
Cars Cafe.
Cars Cafe.
Or Cars Shipping.
Cars Shipping.
Cars Shipping is our Instagram.
Okay, cool.
So you can, they put a whole bunch of things up there, and come visit.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your time. Have a
My
great
pleasure.
afternoon. And everyone else out there, we are back next week. We have a cruise show. And then what is the other show we have next week, Zach?
Don. I think, is that next week with Don from the East Coast Car Show?
Oh, right. Yes. Oh, no. Don Osborne? Is that next week? That's the 14th? 17th? That's that next week? That's 2 weeks.
Oh, I don't know.
You know Don Osborne? You must.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Are you going to go to the Audrain?
Yes,
You're
we're,
gonna go?
we have we want to be sponsors for the Audrain. We have of course an article in our advertisement in the magazine this year.
Have
But
you
we'll
been
definitely
before?
be there. No,
I'm
I've heard
going
of
for
it.
the first time this year with my dad.
Oh, maybe I have to go now.
You have to go now.
I have to go now.
Yes. It's in Newport, Rhode Island. It is on September 31st, I believe, to October 2nd. It's that last weekend that goes over September, October. And it's Don Osborne from Haggerty and Jay Leno's Garage. It's his gig, and it looks like it's going to be very, very cool.
Yes, I
I'm
heard
excited.
great things about it.
Yeah, so I'll be there with my pops.
Okay.
And I hope you'll be there as well. And
Definitely.
obviously you'll be shipping a bunch of stuff out
Tony's
that way.
going. I'm going to take Tony.
Oh, Tony's going?
And our East Coast
Perfect.
lady, Denise, she'll be there. So we got
Perfect.
East Coast and West Coast.
Yeah, there's a bunch of really cool East Coast collectors I know that are going. And it should be a really nice showing of cars, I think. It should be
Yeah.
very, very cool. All right, well, that's it for... we have Don Osborne. I don't think it's next week. I think it's the week after. But we will see you guys next week. And that's our show. Have a good afternoon. Bye.